आप में से बहुत से लोगों की
The hall held a kind of silence that made every sound sharper. The faint hum of the cameras, the quiet cough of a technician, the shuffle of a reporter's shoes against the polished floor. Around the world, millions of viewers leaned closer to their screens, sensing something unusual was about to happen. This was not one of those rehearsed diplomatic ceremonies with stiff smiles and pre-written communiques. Something heavier was in the air. At the center of the hall sat two leaders from distant continents, yet drawn into the same current of history. Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India, a man carrying decades of experience, scars from political battles, and the wisdom of navigating a nation of over 1 billion souls. Across from him sat Ibrahim Traoré, the young president of Burkina Faso, a soldier who had risen from the barracks to the helm of a country, known for his sharp defiance against neo-colonial powers and his unflinching speeches about African dignity. To an untrained eye, it was simply another meeting. Two men in suits, cameras rolling, interpreters waiting. But what followed was not about trade balances, security deals, or aid programs. What unfolded was a dialogue on faith, humanity, and the soul of civilizations. Modi leaned forward, eyes steady, body calm. His voice carried authority but also a humility that disarmed the tension in the room. President Traore, he began, so much of the conflict we see around us comes from misunderstanding. We divide ourselves into Christian, Muslim, Hindu, Jew, Buddhist. We take these names and instead of treating them as colors in the same spectrum, we sharpen them into weapons. But when you peel away the labels, what remains? Religion in its pure essence is not division. It is truth. It is light. It is Dharma, the eternal law that holds the universe together. The words hung heavy in the air. For once, the soldier present did not prepare a retort. Traore, who had challenged Western leaders with fiery speeches, sat in silence, absorbing. This was not the language of power games. It was spiritual ground. Modi continued, layering his thoughts with the weight of India's long history. In my land, he said, we have lived for thousands of years with hundreds of sects, countless faiths, thousands of languages. Empires have come and gone. We have been invaded, colonized, broken. But one current has survived through it all, the spirit of Sanatana Dharma, which the world today calls Hinduism. And why did it survive? Because it was never about forcing one truth upon everyone. It was about recognizing that truth takes many forms. He lifted his hand gently, as though revealing a secret. There is a mantra in the Vedas, Ekam Sat Vipra Bahuta Vadanti. It means, truth is one, but the wise call it by many names. This is our foundation. God may be called Allah, Jesus, Krishna, Yahweh, or simply the universe. The names change. The essence is the same. Viewers online whispered in chat rooms, tweeted fragments of his words, and replayed the mantra over and over. For many, this was not Modi the politician, but Modi the philosopher, explaining Hindu thought not as dogma, but as a vision of unity. Finally, Traore leaned forward, his soldier's eyes still sharp but now probing with curiosity. Prime Minister, he said carefully, what you are saying moves me. But if Hinduism teaches tolerance, why then do we still see division? Why even within India do Hindus sometimes fight? Why do religions that promise peace become swords of hatred? The room froze at the boldness of the question, yet Modi did not flinch. He smiled with the calmness of a teacher. My brother, that is the weakness of man, not the fault of God. Religion begins pure. It begins as a spark of wisdom. But once men turn it into power, into an identity to dominate others, it loses its essence. That is why Hinduism has never demanded conversion. You can remain Muslim, Christian, or atheist and still practice yoga, meditate, or read the Gita. Our tradition does not ask you to leave your path. It only invites you to expand your horizon. A hush swept the room. Even the cameramen adjusted their lenses more quietly. This was no ordinary debate. It was revelation. Modi shifted again, this time invoking the Bhagavad Gita, the scripture revered by millions. In the Gita, he said, a warrior named Arjuna faces despair before a battle. He questions life, duty, morality, And Krishna, his guide, does not command him blindly. He does not say obey. He teaches. He gives wisdom. He reminds Arjuna that each human being must find their own dharma, their own righteous path. That is the beauty of our tradition. God does not force, God enlightens. And then you must choose. Traore's eyes gleamed. That sounds like liberation, he said, but also dangerous for those who want control. No wonder colonizers feared such thought. A people who believe they are spiritually free cannot be enslaved. Modi nodded. Colonizers didn't just take land. They rewrote faiths. Hinduism mocked as superstition, Islam as extremism, African traditions as primitive. Break spiritual confidence, and you enslave forever. Traore's fist clenched. This is why I tell my people, true liberation is not only removing troops or rulers, it is breaking mental chains. Freedom must first be spiritual. The dialogue deepened. Hinduism does not deny other paths, Modi said. It absorbs them. We honor Jesus, respect Muhammad, bow to the Buddha. Truth is one. Rejecting another path is rejecting your own reflection. Then came the line that stunned the hall. Religion was never meant to divide us. It was meant to remind us we are the same. Applause erupted across continents. Traore leaned in. I was raised where Christianity and Islam dominate, but our ancestors spoke to God through earth and rivers. Colonizers called it paganism, yet it was divine. Perhaps what you call Sanatana Dharma, we call African spirituality. Yes, Modi smiled. God is in rivers, stars, every person. That is why we say namaste. The divine in me bows to the divine in you. The hall cheered again. If the world saw we are rivers flowing to one ocean, Modi added, there would be no wars in God's name, only one humanity. Traore placed a hand on his chest. That is the world I will fight for. He pressed further. If Hinduism holds such wisdom, why is the world deaf to it? Because conflict sells, Modi answered. Peace is ignored. Division is profitable. Unity is not. Traore nodded. The same in Africa. Cameras show chaos, not harmony. Hinduism, like Africa, is misunderstood but full of truth. Modi replied softly. Hinduism endured not by force, but resilience. The same spirit I see in Africa. They took your gold, not your soul. Traore rose slightly. My people are awakening. For centuries we were told our gods were false, but God was already with us, in rivers, trees, ancestors' prayers. Truth has many faces. We will not be ashamed, the audience roared. Exactly, Modi said. God is not only in books. Your rituals and music are prayers too. Then we are not so different, Traore smiled. No, Modi answered. 2 rivers, 1 ocean. A journalist broke in. Then why do religions still clash? Because ego, not God, divides us, Modi said firmly. True faith removes fear. False faith breeds it. Yes, Traore thundered. Fear is the greatest chain. God is freedom, justice, truth. Any religion that teaches hate is not from God. Applause shook the room. Modi softened. I practice yoga not because I am Hindu, but because I am human. Yoga is union. Meditation is the soul's quiet. Traore smiled. In my forest walks, I feel God in silence. Perhaps that is yoga too. Indeed, Modi laughed. Different names, same essence. He grew serious again. Hinduism does not seek conversion, only sincerity. Be true to your own path. Then why are we told only one faith saves? Traore pressed. Because truth would free you, Modi replied, and a free soul cannot be ruled. Gasps rippled. Traore faced the camera. Africans, believers everywhere. God does not belong to one people or book. Call him Allah, Krishna, Yahweh, or the ancestors. You speak to the same creator. That is freedom. The hashtags exploded. Modi closed with a hand on his heart. Humanity's task is not one true religion, but truth in every religion. The divine already lives within you, Traore stood. Africa will reclaim its spiritual dignity. We will no longer be told who God is. The world will see our light. They clasped hands. Not a gesture, a covenant. And the world understood. This was more than politics. It was a new vision of faith,